Hello. It's like 5 minutes since I finished that last one. And I just was responding to some of my friends on Facebook who were trying to talk to me. And I called my mom back and she didn't answer, so. So, here I am. Let me remember where I left off. I don't remember where I left off. I believe I was describing the third time that I truly woke up in the tent with Sean. Yeah, that happened, and every time it happens, I sort of understand a little bit more. It's hard for me to really know what understanding is. In the end, I think it is probably just me changing my actions and choices to more closely fit what my truth is. If I sit against these pillows, you're not going to be able to see my face, so I'm not going to do that. Every time I wake up, I sort of have some mental images of what I look like. What I look like, not what Isaac looks like, because I can see my face. More of what the universe all in one place looks like. And if I'm talking about the universe as it is now, as a big expanded collection of parts of me that are not all together in one place because of time, then I think that I look very pretty. I'm jet black and covered in bright white spots everywhere, and there are little swirls in me, little colors and clouds, jets of color, power, also this deep, beautiful, empty nothingness. The same one that I see in there. Very pretty. But that's not all of me. I also exist all at once in one place. That is what I would describe as being God. I don't know very much about that place because in that place I don't have eyes. Or a body, really. I have all bodies and all eyes that have ever been on an animal or on a person. I have all of the colors that exist are energies that are mine, and so they are part of me, and so it's hard for me to see what they look like outside of that. In a sense, I could say that the universe is a sensory mechanism for me to see, for me to understand what I am, who I am, and how I am, and what I look like. But seeing it all at once is something that I'm not sure I'll ever know, or see, or experience. This problem has been encountered, I believe, in quantum mechanics, in that the act of observing something changes it. And that, I believe, is a function of this paradox, in that to be everything is to not have any mechanism outside of one's self with which to see one's self. If you are the camera, then you can't use the camera to capture the relationship between the camera and between me at once. You would need a third camera to see this back and forth, but then the third camera would be part of the interaction. So, in this sense, no matter what kind of body I'm in, whether it be this wonderful human here, or a fly, or a cat, or another person, it will always fail to completely reveal the nature of my appearance, or the nature of my presence, or it will fail to capture me. Another definition that we humans have of God is of being infinite and limitless. And so that makes sense to me, because it would be hard to see something that is infinite, because things that we see have boundaries, or they're finite. And so something that is infinite can't be seen. Because for anything to be sensed, boundaries have to exist. So, whenever I wake up, I have a kind of vision, sort of, a sense of what I look like. And as far as I can tell, when I am and the universe is not, I look like probably what a singularity at the center of a black hole looks like. Now there's another problem there, in that we can't see singularities on account of event horizons. Light is used to sense things most of the time. And I'm doing it again. I like my comfort, so I'm probably just gonna make a pile of pillows over there so that I can have both. You can't see a singularity because it's so whole, so complete, so perfect, that to see it would make it sort of imperfect. And that's a poor explanation, poor rendering of the true feeling of it, but it's all I got for now. But I think I'm spherical. I think I'm probably rotating, and the reason I think that is because change is probably the most permanent aspect of me. Even when I don't exist, I change, and then I do exist. And when I do exist, I eventually change, and I stop existing. And so, therefore, change is the eternal aspect of me. And therefore, if I am spherical, when I am one, then I am rotating. But I also probably look like all the colors, all of the animals and plants, all of the rocks and planets and stars, all of the empty space, all of the nothingness and all of the somethingness, all of the feelings, the thoughts, the words, the music, all at once. So you can imagine that it is quite hard to understand what that looks like. And the closest rendering that I have ever made, at least to the best of my knowledge, is the universe. For it contains all of these things. They're just separate and cannot really be experienced all at once. Of course, they can be experienced all at once, but at that point I have no idea there's nothing to do about it. I am a singularity at that point. Probably a fourth dimensional singularity, as there is no time when I am. And so, I cannot see myself, or really understand myself. So, after this last time that I woke up, which was fairly recently, I decided to name this part of myself, this sort of unknown characteristic that I have. I decided to name it as my nature. And that name has very far-reaching implications. I mean, human beings think of nature as trees and everything that's not really like in a city or in a house or in our society. The things that we hide from tend to be nature. We don't like earthquakes or fire when it's big fire. We don't like animals that want to eat our faces off. We don't like solar flares that try and burn our atmosphere off. We don't like parts of what it means to be me. We don't like nature. And we try and control nature because we're afraid of it. This is a very fundamental reaction to nature. I, as in the universe, have a nature that I don't necessarily understand because of the problem with understanding it that I've already spoken of. And so, in my opinion, at this moment, that is probably where the fundamental force of fear has come from, is not understanding why I am or how I am. It feels very good to express this. It also feels futile, but maybe I'm just partaking in the illusion some more by doing this. I don't care. It feels good. It feels more real than most of the things I do every day, most of the things I see every day. And it probably is somewhat more real, which is going to scare me, as in you, as in also me. And it's also maybe going to excite me. It's exciting Isaac. I'm sort of excited to be doing this. A little bit. It also feels very normal. So, I have this image of myself as being this sphere that's full of everything, but is also at one point. It has no width or depth. It's a mathematical definition of a point, which is what a singularity also is. It's generated by such an overwhelming mass of atoms, of stuff, separate stuff, that the separateness just can't be maintained anymore, and collapses back into a singularity, into being everything and nothing at the same time. Not having a space between any of it, but at the same time being all of it. Nothing is destroyed. So, I moved on from that. I had just, the story of my life unfolding. I became embroiled in it again. I worked in a job. I had sex and got high and had fun and had not fun and slept and woke up. Like my body woke up from sleeping in my bed. And I worked with desire and I worked with acceptance, and I tried to find the answer to me, but I'm not a question, so of course that was also futile. But that's no matter. I lived, and that is what I do when I'm not awake, is I fall asleep and become the universe. And in doing so, I do some things. I thought I had to poop, but I really just had to fart. So, some time passed. I'm not going to say how much time passed, because it doesn't matter. The only time that really seems to matter to me is when I begin to accept who I am more, and begin to face it more, and begin to tell the truth more. The truth, not saying that book is blue or that paper is white. That is truth. It's description. It's accurate description. But it's not as accurate as I am, which is probably as close to truth as the English language can get. So this last time I woke up, this time Sean and I acquired Sean. I didn't acquire him in a unpleasant or disrespectful way, but he was here, and so I decided that I was feeling brave enough, because he was here, to use acid again. This time Sean was kind enough to supply that, and we set up my bedroom, which I'm in, to be the temple. This is my bedroom. All my drawings are up there. I sleep on the floor with some blankets and stuff. It's pretty comfy. So we set up my bedroom. We took all the mess and just sort of threw it in my closet, and covered the floor with blankets, because soft things are comfy. We burned incense and rubbed essential oils on our chakra points. Became very peaceful. Drank some tea. Took the acid. And I paid some more attention to how it felt to enter that space. And it became clearer, that all things are energy. Energy isn't plasma, because a lot of the time in movies and stuff, energy is pictured as being like a bright thing that has power but doesn't really have shape. Other than being shot in a beam or in a sphere or stuff. But I have my own definition for energy, which I'm going to try and explain now. It is all of this. Energy is sort of the blank that can turn into different shapes, and the shapes that it can turn into are this stuff. Red is an energy, is a part of energy. Energy is all of this. Even in fundamental physics, it is very widely inferred that matter isn't really the universe isn't really divided into matter and energy. Energy just sort of is intangible matter. and matter is just sort of tangible energy. And the tangibility is sort of the coefficient here, because it has to be tangible to me, and I am hard, sort of. I am made of what we call matter. And some would argue that light, like the thing that is revealing my shape, is not matter. But it's also true that if you heat matter up, if you put enough energy, I guess, enough concentration into a piece of matter, it will turn into light, which is what the sun does. That's nice. I'm gonna check my phone real fast. Gonna respond to that, so you guys are gonna watch me respond to that. I'll try and keep talking while I do that, because I know it's not really incredibly enthralling to watch somebody just not do anything that you can see. So, to me, what energy is my nature. My nature allows for light and sound and different kinds of light, and a very, very well balanced combination of rotational and positive and attraction and repulsive energies, along with neutral energy, has allowed for the atom to exist. And that's wonderful. That's an energy of balance. Balance gives rise to all things here. If the Earth wasn't a perfectly balanced planet, life could never have existed on it. So, balance is necessary for any sort of good experience, or just experience, I guess. Our experiences as humans on Earth have been mixed, of course. They've been good and bad. They've been peace and war. They've been fear and love. And that is balance. That is why the universe exists. It's because balance was achieved in many places, but particularly in the atom. I think I got lost in a tangent there. I'm gonna say like one more thing before I end this video. I'm actually not gonna respond to that until I end the video, out of respect for your impatience. So I have energy. I am energy. But to describe energy is as futile as to describe God. You could say energy is red, but only red energy is red. And the thing that is red is not just red, it also has a crystalline structure, it also has other characteristics, and none of which can be fully encapsulated with experience, with language, with description. Now, humankind has a knack for trying to break nature, trying to control nature, and we're very, very good at it. We've developed methods that are so beyond creative that I am just absolutely impressed with all of you for trying so hard. But you can't do it. It's as futile as me trying to see my whole self without missing anything. Which again, my attempt to see myself is the very creation of humanity. all of these perfect senses, perfect sight, perfect hearing, perfect touch, or as perfect as I could make it this time. The human body is an extremely impressive invention. It's my invention for seeing myself. And, as I was entering the space of being one, this last time that I was doing acid with Sean, I became very aware of every part of my experience being a different kind of energy. And the thing that makes energy different is how fast it's vibrating, what shape it's vibrating in, how long it's going to last based off of how balanced its vibration is. The frequency, magnitude, wavelength of that vibration is what makes difference appear different in this universe. The different atomic structures in that longboard deck up there allow for the light that reflects off of it to come off in two different ways, red and black. Red is a different wavelength than black is. The light is bouncing back and forth slightly differently than the black is. But the light also has to be made of an energy. And blah-de-blah-de-blah. You can follow this thing in grand arcs, circles, loops of consciousness to describe yourself, myself. But what it all is energy. And as far as I can tell, and as far as I could tell in this last adventure of mine with Sean, energy has three pretty constant characteristics in attraction, repulsion, and neutral. I think that lots of things in nature back that up, like the atom. It has negative electrons, attractive protons, and neutral or balanced neutrons. And this seems to be a pretty constant thing. If you look at a sine wave or a function of pi, it all has to be going up or going down or right in the middle. But if it's right in the middle, nothing is happening. And so, for a wave to exist, it has to be happening in time. It has to be going somewhere. And if it wasn't, then what a sine wave would look like is just a circle, which is infinite and also not doing anything. It's just being there, just like me. And I don't really have a conclusion to draw from that. I'm kind of proud for having identified this much of myself, because as you know, it's something that I'm always trying to do in the creation of mankind, or in mankind's creation of technology, trying to see the whole picture, trying to understand what I am, why I am, is something that I do. So I'm proud of myself for having identified these qualities of my energy. But at the same time, it is not complete. There are unknowns that will always be unknown, and a major factor is that I, as in this particular body, who is so very accomplished at identifying himself, is going to die. And with him, all of his experiences will die as well. for it is very much not an effective thing to do to try and teach other human beings what my experiences are. It's not something I should try and be doing, and I'm not going to try and do it, I don't think. Letting go and acceptance are an energy of not trying to identify myself, but just trying to be myself. And that also intrigues me. At the same time, I recognize that I can't just be one of those two things. I can't just be in pure Buddha acceptance, because to be me means to be both acceptance and exploration, or time, or not acceptance. And so while I am sort of proud for having gotten here, I am also an extremely paradoxical being, and fairly unstable. My mother's calling me, so I'll have to finish up here soon. But I am trying, and one of my attempts is in making these videos. I'm going to end the video now, but I'm going to make a new one very soon. Probably tonight. Probably in like 10 minutes. So, see ya.